Alrighty, so we let these bad boys here dry. We actually let them dry over the weekend, They've almost been dry a week at this point here. They're good and dry. So let's go ahead and we're going to take them out of our clamps here. Nice part about this, we're just going to take these clamps. I like to hang them right over the edge of the table. When they hang over the edge of the table right here, it allows us to loosen them up. We'll just start with this one. We'll loosen it up. Over here, loosen it up. Here, loosen it up. Now, we want to put these clamps away so that they're not in the way. And when we go to hang them on the clamp tree, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. The first thing that you have to do is you have to take your clamp, and the way that these things hang up is there's a spot on the clamp tree where the clamp tree comes through here. So this part right here needs to be lower than this. So what I do is I just take this and I go halfway. All right, is that about halfway? And when we hang this up over there on the rack, I'm going to give it to one of you guys. This goes right on the tree just like this. All the way fully seated back. So Dylan, I'm going to pass this to you, and then I'm going to pan over so you can show everybody where they're going to go. Go ahead and grab that clamp and put it so that the back faces the wall. Yep, so turn it just a little bit. Turn it. Yep, keep going. Yep, a little bit more. There you go, perfect. Find a slot. All right, outstanding. See how nice that fits in there? That fit really nice. I'm going to pass you this clamp, and let's see if you were paying attention. What's the first thing that we do with this clamp once you get it? What do you got to do before we hang it up? We're going to screw it in halfway, just like this. See this? There you go. Go about halfway. There you go. Keep going. Keep going. Perfect. Right there. Go ahead and hang that bad boy up. Is there an open slot? Looks like we got one to the left. Yeah, we got one left towards the left-hand side. Beautiful. All right. So now we'll come back over here and we'll work on this bad boy. So we'll hang this clamp here up. All right. So, do you guys remember, what did I say to do with the glue on these pieces? Did we wipe it off with a wet paper towel? No. What did we do? Why did we leave it? You think? It could be a wrong answer. Okay, so it holds better, he said. Well, here's really why we left it. Is there a decent amount of glue all over the place on it? But is it just in that little line where we kind of made the glue up? What do you think would happen if we wiped it and we weren't able to get it all off?
It would be spread.
So the whole project would be covered in glue, right? And that would make a really big mess. It's a tremendous amount of sanding. So what we did was we opted to let the glue dry and beat up. Now I don't want to run my finger down through here because that glue, all right, can become sharp as it dries, and I don't want to cut my finger open. So we're going to go over how to scrape it off today, and what we will use is a glue scraper, and we will wind up taking the glue scraper and we will pull it back towards ourselves, which is kind of like, we don't ever like to pull a sharp item to cut towards ourselves. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a situation where it makes it nice and safe. Now, do you think that the glue scraper is sharp?
No.
Yeah. So if we like slice through ourselves, probably would cut us up pretty good, right? Yeah, you better believe it. Now, we don't ever want to take it and bang it into anything. That's why I happen to have it out right now, because we're going to do a little lesson on it. But normally, as soon as we're done, we put it in the closet, in the tool closet, and you know, we don't leave it out so somebody would resist the urge to bang it or fall on it or something like that. We put this type of tool away when we're done. So listen, on some of our vices, take a look. I'll tell you what, see that bucket right there? I'm gonna try to get it. Do you see on the very top of your vise, move that bucket out of the way for me, Dylan. There you go. Do you see, yep, that's fine right there. Do you see on the top of your vise that has a little thing that goes up and down on the outside edge? See if you can find it. Yeah, right there. So you got a little tang, Finn's got one. But when I come down here on mine, this vise happens to be about 25 years old, and it's gotten used pretty well over the years. Probably seen about 15,000 kids, so it's been beat up a little bit. So I'm missing mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a piece of scrap wood right here, and I'm going to put it in my vise, so that it's just slightly lower than the height of my wood. I want to make sure I don't clamp my finger in the vise. That hurt pretty good. All right, that's in there good and snug. And this allows me to have a nice pulling force. I don't have to have my hand back here. Well, I wouldn't ever want to put my hand back here and go this way, would I? It's a recipe for disaster, right? Don't want to be in the ER. So what I like to do is a couple things. Number one is I can put my hand up here and help hold it. And I could focus on just doing this 3/4 and then flip it around and do it like this. Or I could take both of my hands and just put it like this and just pull it. Now, we're only getting the glue right off of this top section right here. I'm not going to dig it down in here. I'm not concerned about that. Woo! Now, when we scrape glue, since our glue scraper is on a slight angle like this, what happens is the glue ricochets and it comes right back towards you. So if you just heard me say, woo, I just got a nice big old shower of glue scrapings. Now, if I was to get that glue scraping in my eye and blink, I just said they could be sharp. What could happen? It would probably scratch your cornea up. We only get one set of eyes, all right? So you got to be wearing your safety glasses when you do this here. I know a lot of people online when they're demonstrating stuff, they're not wearing safety glasses. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that I used to be one of those people when I was building homes and stuff like that, never wearing safety glasses, always getting dust in my eye, big old nuisance. All right. Then one day I had, well, 2 times I had an eye injury where something got impaled in my eye. And another time when I had some battery acid from a hose that I had taken off, and there was a little mud hornet's nest or mud wasp nest in the hose. It was under pressure and squirted battery acid into my eye. Oh man, I'll tell you what, did that burn. If I'd had my safety glasses on, I could have bettered my odds of not getting an eye injury. All right. So you always got to wear them. Sometimes they're a nuisance, but really what happens is if you're so used to wearing them, I feel like out of place if I don't have them on, to be honest with you. So whose was this right here? Was this your fan? Yeah. So I'll tell you what, I did the one side over here. I'm going to have you actually do the other side. So we just did this side. Why don't you come right on over here? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whoo! Hot dog. That's the bottom side there, huh? You got a decent amount of glue right there. So where's one spot that we wouldn't want to put our hands? We wouldn't want to put them back here, right? So that they would hit us. Could we put a hand up here?
Yeah.
But should we go all the way to the outside edge, or should we maybe start 3/4 of the way?
Right here.
Yeah. So let's put the whole hand up here. There you go. And we're not going to go all the way to the outside edge. We're just going to go right there. Just pull it back. Right? Yep. But one big swipe. There you go. Again. So don't worry about going all the way outside edge because we're going to flip it around. We don't want to touch that hand over there. Now, I'll have you try this. So you can take this hand, and you can put it up here, that hand too. So 2 hands. Put your other hand up here. There you go. Kind of like this. All right, just like this. And you don't have to hold hard. I want you to try it like this. Put your one hand there, other hand on top of it. There you go. Just pull it right back. Woo! Hot dog. There you go. Oh yeah. That looks pretty good. Let's do the other side. Or well, yeah, yeah. There you go. And one more. All right, hold on. We're going to flip it around. Let you get this one just in case you missed anything. And we'll do this one over here again. All right. So I don't really want to run my hand down over it, but I can tell that we can still see glue right here, right?
Yeah.
But is this board slightly lower than this one?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the glue's still there. It's still in there. Now, since this is our first hardwood project, have we learned how to use any power sanders yet? Have we used any power sanders in here? No. So we're going to go over some power sanders that we're going to use for this. I would probably use a nice 5-inch orbital sander, a round sander, just a random orbit. But those cost about 2 to 3 times as much as these little quarter sheet sanders. Can you pass me that one right there, please, Spin? So this is a little quarter sheet sander, and do you think this is something that any one of us could probably buy? Yeah. Now this happens to be a name brand one, and believe it or not, even though it's name brand, it's not really that expensive. I think this one right here is right around $50. So it's not a whole bunch of money. All right, but it's not the El Cheapo that's $15 or $20. that's not even going to last the first project. These here, this one might be 4 years old, 5 years old. They seem to really handle it pretty good for the kids. So I'm going to grab a trash can and we're going to empty out this dust bag. We do it right over top of the trash can. Do you think we should take this and throw it over each other, being jokesters? No. So this is a really fine particulate. It's not like the saw that comes out of the table saw or the chop saw where it's real big. It's a real fine particulate. And the finer the particulate, all right, the easier it is for it to be airborne and go into our lungs, okay? And maybe a little bit's not a big deal, but if we were breathing this over and over and over every day for a long period of time, do you know that sawdust can be a carcinogenic? What is a carcinogenic? It means cancer causing. So we want to limit our exposure. So obviously taking it and throwing it all over somebody isn't limiting our exposure. So we just do it over top of our trash can, we clean it out. Now we're lucky that in here we have some really big air filters. But if we were doing this in a little small workshop or in our basement, all right, for a long period of time, years and years and years, all right, it might be a big deal. Now, is it going to be a big deal for you guys? You're only in here for 4 years. Who's it a big deal for? Ha, me, right? Yeah. I don't want to retire and then all of a sudden croak, right? You know? So we got to think about that. So I'm gonna actually leave this little dust bag off right here, and we're gonna go over how to put a sheet of sandpaper on this. Now this is a quarter sheet sander, so it takes a quarter sheet of sandpaper. So I take a sheet of sandpaper and I cut it into 4 equal sections. And I happen to have a brand new one right over there. Finn, can you pass me that one? And this is a piece of 120 right here. It says so on the back. This happens to be a piece of 80 up here. We're gonna take the 80 off. We're gonna go to 120. 120 is pretty good. 120 is a good piece of sandpaper. They consider it to be a finishing sandpaper. It does look pretty nice. It's a rough finishing sandpaper, but it's also rough enough that it gets us to cut our projects down pretty good and maybe not get ourselves into a pickle. So let's go over how to put this on. The first thing that I do is I take this, and did you see how I loosened up these arms? And we're gonna put it on our front side first. So I take my piece of sandpaper, line it up nice and professionally, nice and square on my outside edges, and I'm going to go ahead and I clamp that in. Then what I do is I turn this over so that my front side is down, and I'm going to pull this piece of sandpaper, same thing, nice and professionally, right over this edge, and I'm going to tuck it underneath this one. Now I'm keeping this bad boy nice and square and tight, and you see I'm pulling on this, you see that? And I'm going to clamp this bad boy down. So look at that. That's a nice professional clamp down job. Now, I can't get it in pan, but over at the portable power sanding cabinet, check the left-hand door. Do you see those little black squares on that left-hand door of that cabinet? So those over there, those have got some little pointed spikes on them. And what they do is they poke holes into the bottom of your sander just like this. What do you think those holes are for? Okay, so they collect the wood dust, right? So the way that these little sanders work, do you see down in here, do you see that little fan thing? So that fan does 2 things. It helps cool the electric motor, but it also helps suck up some of the sawdust and put it into our little dust bag. So do you think it's important to clean our dust bag out before we get it every day? Yeah. So we're really not worried about cleaning it out after we're done, but we are worried about cleaning it out before we use it. Remember, when we clean up in here, we don't really clean up after ourselves. I mean, we can, but we clean up after each other. That way, if Finn took the sander out, but you used it last, I don't have to hear, well, he took it out, and then he says, well, he used it last. So we just clean up after ourselves, all right, the collective effort. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna plug this sander in, make sure it's off. Looks like it is. And when we sand this, we can hold it 1 of 2 ways. We can hold it like this, or sometimes people hold it like a drinking glass. And to each their own. So we're going to see how this works. We're going to go ahead, we're going to turn this on. And this particular sander, what it does is it goes not like this, but it goes kind of in a circle. But it only goes in an 1/8 of an inch circle. But it goes real fast. So it's going like really fast in a little circle like this. So we don't really need to work it too hard. We just kind of keep it moving back and forth. We're just trying to take off some of our major stuff on our glue up here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn this on and see what it looks like. Sometimes when we're doing this, all right, this tablecloth right here is kind of slippery because of all the sawdust, all right? So sometimes what people elect to do is they'll take their tablecloth and what they'll do is they'll move it out of the way like this, and then over in that same portable power tool cabinet, we have these little rubber mats. And the rubber mat, all right, really adheres to this table pretty good. Now, is this a pretty big mat? Could we probably both work on this? One on each side of the table, right? Absolutely. So we'd take this and put it down here. Look at that. I really got to press hard to get that bad boy to move. Bring it over here. Very nice. So listen, it's going to take us a few minutes to get it down. What you don't want to do is you don't want to take this, all right, and press down super hard. It's okay to put some pressure on it, but I don't want to see you like this, all right? And I don't want to see you have it on a corner like this. What that's going to do is it's going to put a big old groove right in your project, and it's going to destroy the sander. You just have to let the sander do the work. You keep it nice and flat on that 4-inch base, and it's going to work this project down nice and flat. It's going to look mighty fine. How do you think you know when you're done sanding it with the power sander? What's one thing you might know or see? Okay, it'll feel smooth, definitely. How about in the glued up areas? When you say smooth, is there another word that we could use? What would I say? Right now, this is not flush. Flush means that it's smooth, equal, right across this glue up. So is it going to be flush when we have it all the way sanded down? Should we see any glue dots? Should we have any of these rust marks from the clamps in there? So it's going to be smooth, flush, and clean, okay? As you guys do this, you can double check. Do you think you're going to sand your names off today? So what should we do at the end of the day? Yeah, we're definitely going to write them and our names back on there. Do you guys have any special questions with this here? Who remembers what grit we were using? 120. Yep. Any questions before we get it going? Pretty easy. Got to keep your head in the game though, right? All right, boys, go ahead and get your sanders. We're going to get her going.